I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this today. So the first thing that you guys want to do is get your ridge line set up. A lot of these knots you really only have to do once, and once you set up your paracord for the actual ridge line, you don't really have to do it anymore, and it becomes a really easy setup. It becomes really quick to set up. So first thing you'll want to do is set up a bow line at the end of your paracord. Once you've set up your bow line, which I'm showing you on the screen right now, once you've set up your bow line, you're going to want to wrap it around the tree and put a toggle through it, and that should hold that side. You'll want a stick maybe the size of your pinky, and then on the other side of the ridge line, you're tying it with a trucker's hitch. Trucker's hitch, very simple to do. Wrap it around the tree, grab the side that's gonna have the tension on it, and you twist a loop around it, and you twist that loop 3 times. And then after you do that, you're gonna grab that same tension line through the hoop, put the other side through that hoop, and you're gonna pull. And then after you pull, you're going to do what's called the other half of the trucker's hitch, which is you grab the line over it and you pull the line through and you tighten. And then once you have your ridge line, get yourself some PRC knots. I leave these PRC knots on the actual paracord. I just move them over to the end, so it makes it a lot easier whenever I'm setting up. Whenever you are making a PRC knot for this particular purpose, you'll want to get a string. This is extremely important. You want a string that's thinner than the paracord that you're using, because if I were to use that same paracord as a PRC knot to tighten my tarp, it'll slide. It's a lot easier for it to slide because it's the same diameter. So you'll want a piece of cordage that's thinner. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I can't remember the exact brand, but anything that's just smaller than your average paracord will work fine. You'll want to take a string and you'll want to get it from like the tip of your thumb a little bit past your elbow. That should be a good length, and then you'll just cut right there. So then you have this string right here, and the first thing you have to do is what's called the idea is you attach these two together. You have to do a fisherman's knot. Here I have this string. What you're going to do is you're going to do an overhand knot, which is just basically a loop and bringing the string through like that. So all you have is that little hoop. You're going to take this end, the other end of the string, you're going to put it through said loop like that, and you're going to tighten that overhand with this loop through. So now you have the overhand that you just tightened, and you have this loop that you can just slide through, slide back, and you'll have this loop right here. And then you're going to do the exact same thing with the one that goes through that you tighten and loosen. You're going to grab it and you're going to do an overhand over the other string. So you go like that, through, like that, and then you tighten. So all you've done is you've made an overhand knot on one side of the string, an overhand knot on the other side of the string, and then you pull, and that becomes a loop. What you want to do is, this is the loop that I just created. You're going to want to grab the loop and you're going to put the loop through 3 times like that, and then a 3rd time, and on that 3rd time you can just let it go, and then you'll want to do what's called dressing the knot, and you have your PRC knot. That's a very, very simple knot to do, but what's good about this is that you can slide it back and forth like that, but then when you put it at an angled tension, it stays like that. It'll grip on itself. Here I have the PRC knot. I had already set it up because it was going to rain earlier, but I'm just going to redo it so that you guys can kind of see how it works. Basically, most tarps are going to come with a center ridgeline hole where you can actually put these PRC knots through, and this is going to allow you to set up almost a perfect ridge line every single time, or almost a perfect hang every single time. If your tarp doesn't have this, usually if it's a really, really cheap tarp, they might not come with this, and then you'll kind of just have to throw the tarp over your basic ridge line and then fight with the different stakes that you're staking into the ground, which I'm going to show you how to tie those in a second. If your tarp does have this, which I recommend you invest in a good tarp if you're doing this frequently, all you're going to want to do is grab your PRC knot, which the good thing about these PRC knots, as I showed you a second ago, I can move this closer to the tarp to make it easier. And then afterwards, once I have my toggle in here, you're going to pull this and you'll be able to move the actual prusik knot into position. So for now, we're just going to bring it closer to make it easier. You're going to grab your prusik knot, the side, this is where the hoop is. You're going to put this through the actual tarp itself, like that. And then you pull. It's going to create a section where you can put your toggle. You put your toggle through there and you just let it tighten. And then now you can get it and you can pull your actual tarp tight. And that stays still. And that's how you set up your prusik knot onto the actual tarp. I'm at the corner that you're going to be setting up your either your trucker's hitch. There's another hitch I'm going to show you I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, and it makes it 10 times easier to set up and put away. So that hitch works great. I'm going to show you it real quick. For whenever you have a position that you're going to be staking, that you have a bunch of leftover cordage. So if you have all this leftover cordage, which I have here, you're going to want to put that cordage through that same bowline that you set up at the edge of the tarp. And then all you're doing is almost identical to a trucker's hitch, as you're just creating another hitch here and tightening it on itself, like that. However, sometimes you have to stake really, really far away and you can't reach that position. So this makes it where the trucker's hitch would actually be a more viable option to do. So again, to undo this one, very, very simple. You just pull it and you bring the string through and you're done. So if I was staking, let's say way out here, and I needed to set up the stake much further away in a position where you don't have a lot of cordage left, like how I just showed you with that other hitch, you can't reach that bowline with a little bit of cordage that we have left. So in this case, you would want to set up a trucker's hitch. So it's a little bit more work than the other knot, but it works and it gets the job done. Once you've set up the prusik on one side, you're going to want to set the prusik knot on the other side with a toggle, and you basically just pull like that. You stake all four corners with the bowline knot on the corner, and then either the trucker's hitch if you have to stake really, really far away, or if you aren't staking really far away, you can just do that other hitch that I can't for the life of me. I suck with knot names. I also don't really care about who gets credit, honestly. Like, it doesn't matter. If I learned it from, I either learned it from Corporal's Corner, I learned it from Xavier, I think it's Budnick is his last name. Really, really nice overall setup. And once you have those knots down, what's beautiful is that you can really set these tarps up in any way. You can manipulate them really, really well. It looks like it's going to rain, so I'm going to get going. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you guys are interested in these kinds of videos. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.